The old man didn't respond until she whispered, "Annyeonghaseyo." 10 minutes before, Maya Williams saw him. She stood behind the steamed-up window of the Rose Diner. There was something about him. The man had been there for over an hour. She'd noticed him at first in passing, just another figure hunched under the storm's weight. But now, in the biting dusk, she couldn't ignore the details. His coat, though soaked, was clearly expensive. Camel, colored cashmere, double-breasted, its tailoring too fine for the streets. His shoes leather, not rubber. His hair, white and neatly trimmed, clung to his scalp in soaked strands. And his face, he wasn't asleep, but staring into the distance, not dazed, lost. Carl, the diner's owner, caught her staring. "Table 6 is still waiting on their check, Maya," he barked. She didn't answer. Her eyes were fixed on the bench. "Don't tell me you're worrying about that guy again," Carl said, his tone thick with irritation. "You bring one in. You bring them all in. We're not running a charity." "He's not just some drunk, Carl," she said softly. "Look at him. He's freezing. He's not our problem." Carl grabbed a towel, slamming it on the counter. "You've got dishes, not stray old men." Maya hesitated, her conscience screaming louder than his voice. She glanced at the pot of fresh soup simmering on the stove. "Please, Carl, I'll pay for it. Just let me bring him some." "No." His voice cracked like a whip. "I said no. You step 1 foot outside with diner food, you're fired." She bit her lip. "Then fire me." She reached for a to-go cup and ladle anyway, filling it with hot lentil soup. Steam curled up against her tired face as she tucked in a warm biscuit and a napkin. Her hands trembled not from fear, but from anger at the way people stopped caring. "Maya," Carl thundered, marching from behind the counter. "Don't you dare. I can't just leave him out there, Carl," she pleaded, voice breaking. "Please, just this once. He might die out there." Carl's face twisted. "You think you're some kind of savior? You're not. You're a waitress who can't even keep her own damn life together." Her cheeks burned. "That's not fair." He lunged forward, ripping the paper bag from her hands. The sudden force threw her off balance. The soup spilled, hot liquid splashing across her wrist. She stumbled backward, hitting the corner of a chair before landing hard on the tile floor. Pain shot through her elbow. "See what you did?" Carl snapped. "Now, clean up this mess." Maya stared at the spreading soup, at the biscuit floating in it like a tiny, broken raft. The diner had gone silent. Even the old couple at booth 3 stopped eating. Something inside her snapped. She rose slowly, her wrist red and throbbing, eyes glistening not with tears, but with fury. "I said I'll pay for it," she whispered. Carl scoffed. "Pay? You think your tips can fix stupid?" Maya didn't answer. She walked to the counter, grabbed another bowl, and filled it again. This time she didn't ask. She placed a dollar bill beside the register, her last one from that night's tips, and said quietly, "This covers it." Carl pointed a thick finger at her. "You walk out that door, you don't come back." She met his eyes. "Then I won't." The bell above the door jingled sharply as she pushed it open. A gust of icy air slapped her face, but the pain only steeled her resolve. The city outside was a roaring blur of headlights and rain. She crossed the street, ignoring the splash of passing tires, clutching the steaming container like something sacred. The man on the bench hadn't moved. His shoulders sagged, his head bowed. The rain clung to his eyelashes. Maya's shoes squelched as she stepped closer. "Sir," she said, breath hitching from the cold. "Sir, can you hear me?" No response. She knelt beside him, placing the food on the bench. The soup steam drifted upward, warming the air between them. "It's okay," she said softly. "I brought you something warm. Please, eat." He made a faint sound, low, breathless, almost like a sigh, then another, in a language she didn't understand at first. "Ah, Juchuwa." Her heart stopped. "Korean." Maya blinked through the rain. Her foster mother's voice echoed in her memory, humming lullabies in that same rhythm. The vowels rolled off his tongue the way Clara used to teach her, gentle, deliberate. She remembered late nights repeating Annyeonghaseyo into her cracked mirror, the sound of belonging to a world that once welcomed her. She took a trembling breath and whispered, "Annyeonghaseyo." The man's head jerked up. His eyes, dull seconds ago, locked onto hers with startling clarity. For an instant, the storm fell away. "It's okay," Maya said. "You're safe." His lips parted. A single word escaped. "Park. Is that your name?" she asked. He nodded weakly. "Okay, Mr. Park," she said, heart pounding. "We're getting you somewhere warm." When she tried to lift him, his body was frighteningly light. He stumbled but didn't resist. A cab slowed, the driver eyeing them warily, but the look in Maya's eyes made him unlock the door. In the back seat, the man tried to hold the coffee cup, his hands trembling too much. Maya steadied it for him. Steam fogged the windows. She could smell rain, soup, and the faint antiseptic scent of the hospital she'd once visited years ago the night Clara died. He reminded her of her foster mother in those last hours, proud, silent, fading. She'd promised Clara she'd always see people, even when the world didn't. Now, as the cab sped through red lights, she realized she was keeping that promise. The man beside her shivered violently. She pressed her coat around his shoulders. "Hang on, Mr. Park," she whispered. "We're almost there." Brooklyn General's fluorescent lights cut through the rain as they pulled up. Nurses rushed out with a wheelchair, their practiced detachment already settling in. "No ID," Maya explained breathlessly. "Found him on Clinton Avenue. He speaks Korean. I think he had a stroke." They nodded mechanically, taking him inside. When they tried to stop her at the entrance, she stepped around them. "I'm coming," she said firmly. "He needs someone to stay." As they disappeared down the hallway, Maya's heart thudded. She glanced at her wrist, reddened from the spilled soup, and at the door swinging shut behind her. She thought of Carl's voice, cruel and echoing. "You can't fix stupid." Maybe not, she thought, but she could try to fix a little bit of cold in a world gone numb, and she wouldn't walk away again. If you felt connected to Maya, like this video and comment where you are watching from. The waiting room smelled like bleach, old coffee, and hopelessness. Maya sat hunched in a plastic chair that creaked with every shift of her aching body. Her jeans were still damp from kneeling in the street. Her wrist throbbed from where the soup had burned her, and the scrape on her elbow pulsed beneath the sleeve of her uniform, but she barely noticed. Her eyes were locked on the swinging double doors beyond the nurses' station, the ones that had swallowed Mr. Park. The nurses had called him John Doe. That's what they wrote on the clipboard when she followed them through the sliding doors of the ER. No ID, no wallet, no phone, just a confused old man soaked to the skin with a foreign language on his tongue and a name Park barely whispered. He hadn't said anything more on the ride over, only clutched the styrofoam cup like a lifeline. She remembered the way his eyes had locked on hers when she spoke Korean, as if she'd pulled him back from somewhere far away. As if the sound of his language had reached a part of him that nothing else could. Now he was behind those doors, surrounded by strangers in gloves and scrubs, and Maya couldn't help but feel like she had abandoned him all over again. A nurse walked by, brisk and tired. "Excuse me," Maya said, standing. "The man I brought in, the older gentleman, do you know anything?" The nurse gave her a tired glance. "You mean the Korean guy? I don't know his full name. He told me Park. He looked like he was freezing. He didn't seem okay. I think he had a stroke or something." "Men," the nurse sighed. "Doctor's with him. He's stable for now. We're running tests. He was hypothermic and dehydrated. You should go home, honey." "I can't," Maya said simply. The nurse paused, studying her. Maya must have looked like hell-wet clothes. Flushed cheeks, blood on one elbow. but something in her tone made the nurse soften slightly. "You his family?" "No, I found him." A pause. The nurse nodded slowly, then walked on. Maya returned to her seat. Time moved strangely after that. Minutes dragged like hours. She watched families come and go, watched a woman sob into her phone, watched a man in a tracksuit argue about his discharge papers. The TV in the corner played a muted cooking show. She stared without seeing. Her mind was spinning. Who was he? Why had he looked so dignified? That was the word. Even broken and wet, he had carried himself with a kind of silence that didn't feel like defeat. It felt like a man too proud to cry for help. She thought of Carl's words again, sharp and ugly. "You're not a savior. You're a waitress who can't even keep her own damn life together." He wasn't wrong. Maya was 29, single, barely scraping rent for a basement apartment off DeKalb Avenue. She worked 6 days a week, paid for night school classes in cash, and had exactly $12 left in her bank account. But tonight wasn't about her. Tonight was about that moment on the bench, when the world had passed a man by, and she had stopped. It was about Clara. Her foster mother had been the first person to truly see Maya not as a troubled kid, not as a charity case, but as a child worth investing in. Clara had been in her 60s then, retired from teaching, living on a fixed income, and yet she'd opened her small home to Maya like it was the easiest thing in the world. Clara had loved languages. She used to say, speaking someone's language is the fastest way to remind them they belong somewhere. That's why Maya had studied Korean after Clara passed. It made her feel close to her again. And now, somehow, it had connected her to this man on a bench in the rain. The double doors swung open. A doctor in navy scrubs walked out, glancing down at a clipboard. He looked mid-40s, sharp-eyed but worn thin. His badge read, "Dr. Leonard." Are you the one who brought in the gentleman from Clinton Avenue?" he asked, scanning the room. Maya stood up quickly. "Yes, that was me. Is he okay?" Dr. Leonard sighed. "He's stable. His core temperature was dangerously low. He's been rehydrated and warmed. But he's disoriented. We believe he had a transient ischemic attack. A mini-stroke." Maya's heart skipped. "Is that serious?" "It can be. It affects speech, memory, cognitive processing, but it's reversible if treated early. He's resting now, still confused, but coherent in bursts." "Did he say anything?" she asked. "Anything you understood?" Dr. Leonard hesitated. "Only the word park. We're assuming that's his name. But he has no ID. No emergency contact. Do you know who he is?" Maya shook her head. "No. But I think he's important. I think he's someone people are probably looking for." The doctor raised a brow. "What makes you say that?" She looked down, unsure. "His clothes, his manner, the way he speaks, when he can. I don't know. He doesn't belong on a bench in the rain." Dr. Leonard nodded slowly, as if filing that away. "Well, until we know more, he's a John Doe. Social services will be looped in by morning." Maya's chest tightened. "He's not homeless." Dr. Leonard gave her a tired smile. "That's what they all say." "No, I mean it," she said. "He spoke Korean, and when I said something in Korean back, he changed, like he remembered who he was." "No." "Noted," the doctor said. "Look, visiting hours are technically over, but I'll let you sit with him for a few minutes. He's in Bay 7. Maya murmured a thank you and followed the corridor past buzzing monitors and echoing footsteps. The hospital felt both alive and deeply exhausted. She found Bay 7 just a curtain separating him from the rest of the world. She pulled it back. He was lying there, eyes half closed, wrapped in blankets. His face looked more peaceful now. The tension in his jaw softened. An IV snaked into his hand. Electrodes dotted his temple. She stepped inside. "Mr. Park?" she whispered. His eyes opened slowly. "I'm here," she said. "You're safe." He blinked. For a long moment, he said nothing. Then, barely audible, he murmured, "Williams." Maya froze. "What did you say?" His mouth opened, trembling. "Clara." "Williams?" Her breath caught in her chest. "That was my foster mother." He blinked again, as if trying to hold onto the thread. His voice was fragile. "She helped me. Long time ago." Then his eyes fluttered closed, and the monitor beeped steadily beside him. Maya sat down in the plastic chair beside the bed, her heart thudding in her chest. She reached gently for his hand. For the first time in years, she felt something strange, like a door creaking open somewhere in the dark. Clara's voice echoed in her memory. "One day, you'll speak a word at the right moment, and the world will change." It just might have. The morning light had not yet reached the windows of Brooklyn General. The city outside was still damp with yesterday's storm, the sidewalks gleaming under dull streetlights. But inside Bay 7, time had slowed to a gentle heartbeat, marked only by the steady rhythm of the heart monitor beside the hospital bed. Maya didn't sleep. She sat in the same molded plastic chair, her arms crossed tightly over her chest. Her coat was draped around her shoulders like a blanket. Her phone buzzed twice, both missed calls from Denise, the other waitress on night shift, but she ignored them. Her wrist still ached, so did her pride. But she couldn't leave, not when the man in the bed had whispered her mother's name. Clara Williams. It couldn't be coincidence. She hadn't spoken that name out loud to anyone in years. And yet this man, this stranger she found on a bench in the freezing rain, had looked into her face and spoken it like it was a thread that had survived decades and oceans to find her. She watched him now, as he stirred under the thin hospital blankets. His features twitched slightly, nostrils flaring, fingers curling over the edge of the sheet. He was waking up again. "Mr. Park?" she said softly, standing. His eyes fluttered open. For a moment, there was confusion, then wariness. He looked at her, long and slow, as though he were flipping through memories behind his eyes. When he tried to sit up, Maya quickly stepped forward, pressing gently on his shoulder. "Easy. You're okay. You're in the hospital. You were out in the cold for too long. But you're safe now." He licked his dry lips, squinting at her face. You spoke Korean?" "Yes, just a little. My foster mother taught me. She was Korean, American, Clara Williams." His breath hitched at the name. It wasn't just recognition, it was grief, nostalgia, reverence. "She saved me," he whispered. "Long time ago. I remember. She gave me rice and tea. I had nowhere to go." Maya knelt down beside the bed, her fingers gripping the rail. "You knew her?" He nodded slowly. "She let me sleep in her guest room. Queens." It was winter. Like now. Tears stung Maya's eyes. She used to tell me stories about a student who came from Korea. "You stayed with her for a while. You were trying to get a patent for some kind of invention." The man's lips lifted into the barest shadow of a smile. "Solar processor. No one believed in it. Except her. That was you." He gave a faint, raspy laugh. "I was nobody back then." "What's your full name?" she asked. He looked away for a long moment. Then he said, with as much strength as he could gather, "Elliot Park." It hit her like a gust of wind. She knew that name. Not from Clara's stories from now. Elliot Park was a name that popped up in tech news occasionally. Reclusive founder of Green Core Asia, a pioneer in clean energy, net worth estimated in the billions. Maya blinked, stunned. "You're the Elliot Park?" He nodded once. The hospital suddenly felt too small, the walls too close. "What happened?" she asked. "Why were you out there alone?" Elliot frowned. "I don't know. I remember. A meeting. Then pain. My head. Lights. Then nothing. She watched his eyes drift, his mind lost again. The confusion was back, and it frightened her. He was still fragile, like a man returned from someplace far beyond the rest of them. "You may have had a stroke. That's what the doctor said. You collapsed somewhere, and someone must have taken your things." He blinked slowly, the words struggling to register. "Do you have anyone I can call?" Maya asked. "Family? Friends?" He didn't respond. She gently squeezed his hand. "I'll figure it out. I'll help." A soft knock came at the curtain. It parted, and Dr. Leonard stepped in. His expression neutral, clipboard in hand. But when he saw Maya still there, his brows lifted. "You stayed all night," he said. "I wasn't going to leave him alone," she replied. The doctor glanced at Elliot. "Mr. Park, good to see you more alert." Elliot tried to nod. "I'd like to do a cognitive assessment," Leonard continued, "just to see where we are neurologically." I think I can help," Maya said quickly. "He's speaking in fragments, but there's memory, recognition, names." Leonard gave her a look of mild surprise. "You're not family, correct?" "No," Maya admitted. "But he knew my foster mother, Clara Williams. She helped him decades ago. Now I found him. It's strange, I know, but I'm not leaving him." Dr. Leonard studied her for a beat longer, then gave a small nod. "All right. Let's keep him for observation another 24 hours. After that, we'll need a plan. If no next of kin comes forward," Maya's voice firmed, "they will." Later that morning, after a nurse brought Elliot oatmeal and more IV fluids, Maya stepped into the hallway and called the front desk at Green Corps' North America branch. The phone rang twice before a clipped British voice answered. "Green Corps International, this is Miss Patterson. I need to speak with someone about Mr. Elliot Park," Maya said quickly. A pause. "Excuse me? He's in the hospital, Brooklyn General. I found him last night on a bench. He had no ID, no phone. But he's here now, alive. I just thought, well, someone must be looking for him." The woman's voice changed in an instant. "Stay on the line." There was a flurry of activity. Maya could hear voices in the background. Murmuring. Phones being picked up. Someone speaking in Korean. Quickly. Urgently. Then silence. "We're sending a car," the voice returned, sharp and crisp. "Please do not leave the hospital. Mr. Park's team will be there shortly." When Maya hung up, her fingers trembled. She turned back toward Base 7, heart pounding. Somewhere in the city, someone very powerful had just realized their billionaire CEO had been found by a black waitress in a rainstorm. She had no idea what would come next. But she knew one thing. She wasn't walking away. The hallway outside Base 7 buzzed with a quiet tension that didn't belong to hospitals. It wasn't the hum of machines or the shuffle of nurses' shoes, it was the sound of whispers spreading faster than lab results. People in suits had begun to appear, their expressions brisk and watchful, like they were part of something too important to announce aloud. Maya noticed first. 2 men in dark overcoats entered through the main doors, flashing IDs to the reception desk. One spoke in rapid Korean. The other, a translator, scribbled something on a clipboard. Within minutes, their presence spread down the corridor like a cold draft. She turned back toward Elliot's room. He was awake again, propped against the pillows, watching the movement beyond the curtain. His face was calmer now, but there was something wary behind his gaze, an awareness slowly returning, like a man realizing his reflection had been missing for days. "Mr. Park," she said quietly, stepping closer. "Your people are here. They're coming to see you." He blinked, brow furrowing. "My people?" "Yes, from your company, I think. Green Corps." They sounded worried. The curtain snapped open before he could answer. A woman in a charcoal gray coat stepped in, followed by the 2 men. She was mid-40s, polished and composed, her dark hair swept back into a tight bun. Her badge read Eleanor Cho, Chief Operating Officer, Green Corps Asia. For a moment, she froze, her eyes locking on Elliot. The transformation in her face was immediate shock, then relief, then restrained professionalism. "Sir," she said, voice trembling just slightly. "Thank God." Elliot blinked at her. "Do I know you?" Eleanor hesitated. "Yes, sir. I work for you. I've been leading your division in Seoul for 9 years." He frowned. 9 years? The words fell apart halfway through. Eleanor turned to Maya, studying her quickly, as if scanning for answers. "You found him?" "Yes," Maya said. "He was sitting on a bench across from my diner. I called 911. He didn't have any ID." Eleanor's tone shifted, polite but clinical. "We appreciate your help, Miss Williams." Maya Williams. "Miss Williams." Eleanor nodded. "Mr. Park has been missing since Sunday night. We assumed the worst. His car was found abandoned near the East River. You've done something extraordinary. Green Corps will compensate you for your time." "That's not why I helped," Maya said softly. Eleanor smiled faintly but didn't quite meet her eyes. She pulled a sleek envelope from her purse and placed it on the small table beside the bed. "This is a non-disclosure agreement. I'm sure you understand Mr. Park's condition and whereabouts are confidential. We'd prefer this incident not be discussed publicly." Maya stared at the envelope like it was a foreign object. "You're asking me to sign a silence agreement?" "It's standard procedure," Eleanor said smoothly, "for your privacy and his." Elliot looked between them, confused. "What is that?" Eleanor's face softened. "Just paperwork, sir. We'll handle everything." Maya crossed her arms. "I'm not signing anything." Eleanor's professional mask slipped for just a second. "Excuse me? I'm not taking your money, and I'm not signing anything," Maya said, steady now. "He's not a story to hide. He's a person who needed help." The room went still. The men in coats exchanged glances. Eleanor's jaw tightened. "Miss Williams, I assure you, no one is hiding anything. This is about protecting Mr. Park's privacy. If this story reaches the press—" "I'm not talking to the press," Maya interrupted. "I'm just saying, he deserves to be treated like a human being. That's all." Elliot watched her quietly, his gaze sharpening with each word. Something flickered behind his eyes. Recognition, admiration, a faint echo of Clara's stubborn kindness. "Doctor," Leonard entered then, clipboard in hand, breaking the silence. "We're keeping him for another night," he announced. "His blood pressure still unstable. No discharge until morning." Eleanor exhaled slowly. "Of course." As the medical staff cleared out, Maya lingered. She could feel Eleanor's disapproval like static in the air. The woman was used to controlling situations, and Maya had just disrupted the script. Elliot gestured faintly toward the curtain. "Stay," he murmured. She did. When Eleanor finally stepped outside to take a phone call, Maya turned back to him. "You remember her now?" He nodded slightly. "Eleanor, she's efficient, cold, sometimes, good for business. Do you remember what happened to you?" He frowned, rubbing his temple. "I remember leaving a meeting. I remember lights, then nothing. It's like the film of my life tore in the middle." Maya hesitated. "You could have died out there." "I should have," he said quietly, "but you stopped." Her throat tightened. "Someone had to." He looked at her for a long moment, eyes steady. "Why?" The question caught her off guard. "Why what? Why did you stop?" Everyone else walked past. Maya shrugged, uncomfortable. "Because my mother would have done the same." He tilted his head. "Clara." She nodded, smiling faintly. "Yeah, Clara Williams. She taught me Korean when I was a kid. Said learning someone's language is the best way to tell them they matter." Elliot's eyes softened. "She said that to me too." A lump formed in Maya's throat. She talked about you sometimes, you know. About a young man she helped one winter. You were trying to get a patent approved. You almost gave up. His gaze drifted toward the window. She gave me tea, and a space heater that barely worked, and faith when I didn't have any. They sat in silence for a while, the hospital's hum fading beneath the weight of memory. Outside, Eleanor's voice rose in the hallway, measured, commanding, already spinning the story for Green Corps' PR team. Maya could hear fragments through the curtain. Isolated medical incident, CEO stable, no statement to press yet. Elliot sighed. Even now, they treat life like a business strategy. Maya smiled softly. Then maybe it's time someone reminded them what life looks like. He looked at her, and for the first time since she'd found him, there was a spark of humor in his expression. You sound like Clara. She didn't know what to say to that. By the time night settled again, the hospital had quieted. The men in suits left one by one, and Eleanor finally retreated to a nearby hotel. Only Maya remained, sitting by Elliot's bedside as he drifted into sleep. She watched his chest rise and fall, steady now. The machines beeped softly, a fragile rhythm of survival. Maya whispered into the dark, "You're going to be okay, and whatever this is, I'll see it through." Outside, snow began to fall thin, hesitant, like the city itself was holding its breath. By sunrise, the city had buried its grief beneath a fresh layer of snow. Brooklyn glittered under the pale orange sky, and outside the windows of Brooklyn General, the sidewalks glowed with soft frost. Inside Bay 7, Elliot Park slept soundly for the first time in days. But Maya couldn't. She leaned against the window ledge, arms wrapped around herself, sipping a cup of weak hospital coffee. Her reflection stared back at her, tired, thoughtful, and older somehow, like something about last night had aged her from the inside out. She heard footsteps before she saw him. A young man in a navy coat and leather gloves stepped into the room without knocking. He looked barely 30. Hair slicked back, eyes sharp as a hawk's. He moved with quiet authority, like someone trained to blend into the background but used to watching everything. "Miss Williams?" he asked. Maya turned slowly. "Yes?" He flashed a badge, plain silver, no name. "I'm Agent Park Minseo, Korean Consulate Liaison." Her heart jumped. "Are you related to Mr. Park?" "No." His face was unreadable. "But we've been looking for him." His disappearance caused a significant ripple. "I was sent to confirm his well-being." She gestured to the bed. "As you can see, he's alive, weak, but recovering." Agent Park's eyes scanned the room, lingering on the IV drip, the heart monitor, the folded coat on the visitor's chair. "You found him," he said. "Yes." "Why?" It wasn't accusatory, just pointed. She stiffened slightly. "Because he needed help." "Isn't that what decent people do?" His expression didn't change. "Did he say anything unusual to you?" She narrowed her eyes. "Define unusual." "Names, warnings, anything about threats, or documents, or regret." Maya stepped forward. "Look, I don't know what you're fishing for, but he's been barely coherent. And when he did talk, it was about my foster mother, not secrets." Something flickered in Agent Park's eyes at the name. "Clara Williams?" Maya blinked. "You know her?" "I know of her," he said slowly. "She once worked with a small legal aid organization that helped foreign researchers process their patents. Many of them were South Korean nationals. Mr. Park was one of them." Maya felt a chill in her chest. "Are you saying she helped more than just him?" "Yes, dozens in fact. But she only ever kept one file." He reached into his coat and withdrew a slim envelope, placing it on the windowsill. Maya picked it up. Inside was a faded copy of a hand-drawn schematic. A solar energy circuit, annotated in Korean. At the top was Clara's handwriting. "Elliot Park, December 1000. 989. I don't understand, Maya whispered. She believed in what he was building, Agent Park said. Enough to put her own name on the original filing to protect his work until he gained citizenship. But why would she keep this? Why now? Because Mr. Park has enemies, Miss Williams, and not everyone in his world wanted him found. That landed like a stone in Maya's stomach. She thought back to how he had no ID, no wallet, nothing. How easily a man like him could disappear in a city that's always moving forward. Agent Park continued, "There's something else." Right before his disappearance, Mr. Park instructed his legal team to reopen Clara Williams's case file. He was preparing a trust, for her, and for someone named Maya. Maya's eyes widened. "What?" "He was trying to find you, before you found him." A silence fell between them, the weight of revelation curling in the corners of the room. Elliot stirred then, his voice faint. "Maya." She rushed to his side. His eyes were open now, clearer, sharper. "You're awake." He nodded slowly. "You stayed." "Of course I did." Agent Park stepped closer. "Sir, it's good to see you alive." Elliot studied him, then turned to Maya. "Don't trust everyone in a suit," he murmured. Maya felt the warning settle into her spine. Agent Park straightened. "We'll be arranging transport to a private facility shortly. Our medical team is ready." No, Elliot said firmly. "I'm staying here, for now." "But..." "She stays," he added, nodding toward Maya, "until I leave." The agent hesitated, then gave a curt nod. "I'll be outside," he said, stepping out of the room. Maya sat down, heart pounding. "Elliot, why would someone want to hurt you?" He stared out the window, eyes clouding again. "Because the more good you do, the more someone profits from your failure." A pause. "You saved me. Now I need to remember why." "Bleh." She looked at him, feeling the full weight of what was beginning to unfold. "Then we'll find out together." Outside, the first rays of sunlight pushed through the clouds. But the air around Brooklyn General felt charged now, as if the city itself was bracing for something more than a snowstorm. By midday, the snow had melted into puddles that mirrored the gray sky. Elliot Park sat upright in his hospital bed, no longer weak but still subdued, like a man who knew the road ahead would be harder than the one behind. Maya stood by the window, arms crossed, watching the street. She had barely spoken since the agent left. Her mind was still circling what he'd said. "He was trying to find you. Before you found him." "What do you remember now?" she asked, breaking the silence. Elliot turned his gaze toward her. "Not everything, but pieces. Shadows of meetings. Faces without names. I know something went wrong. You think someone did this to you on purpose?" "I'm not sure." He hesitated. "But it wasn't an accident." A nurse entered with his lunch tray. Maya helped adjust the table for him, watching as he poked half-heartedly at the bland chicken and green beans. It felt strange serving a billionaire hospital food, but everything about the last 48 hours had been upside down. "I want to show you something," Elliot said once they were alone again. He reached under the blanket and retrieved a folded slip of paper he'd tucked into his hospital gown pocket. Maya unfolded it carefully. It was a receipt from a hotel near the Brooklyn waterfront. The timestamp read Sunday, 6:42 p.m. "This was in my coat," Elliot said. "I don't remember checking in." "Was it your handwriting?" she asked. He shook his head. "No, and look, no room number." Maya's eyes narrowed. "Who gave it to you?" He looked away. "That's the part I don't remember." Her thoughts swirled. Why would a billionaire CEO be at a low-profile hotel without security or staff? And why would he end up on a park bench the same night? "Something happened there," Maya said slowly. "You were lured out, or maybe followed." Elliot looked toward the door. "Someone knew where to find me. Someone I trusted." She nodded. "We need to go back there, see what they know." He studied her. "You don't have to help me, Maya." "Yes, I do." Why?" "Because Clara would have," she said softly. And because this isn't just about you anymore. The curtain rustled. Dr. Leonard stepped in, flanked by a man in a pressed blazer with a hospital admin badge. Both looked tense. "We've just received a transfer request," the administrator said. "Private jet, offshore facility, full security detail. Signed by Green Corps, legal." Maya's stomach dropped. "When?" "Now." Elliot's jaw tightened. "I didn't approve that." "Nah. I assumed it came from your team," the admin said. Elliot shook his head. "Tell them no. I'm afraid they've already sent transport." Maya moved beside the bed. "You said you wanted to stay." "I do." "Then say so." The administrator glanced at the doctor. "Legally, he can override it. But they've sent people. They're already in the lobby." Dr. Leonard looked uneasy. "They're not just staff. They came with armed security." Elliot exhaled sharply. "They're forcing a move before I can talk." "Then let's stall them," Maya said, thinking fast. "Tell them he's developed a fever, that he's unstable." "I can write a delay order," Dr. Leonard said. "Buys us 24 hours. "Do it," Maya said. "We'll be gone before then." Both men looked at her in alarm. "What are you talking about?" Elliot asked. "I'm talking about getting you out of here before they do." "You want to sneak me out of a hospital?" he said, disbelieving. "Yes. That's insane. You want answers? Then you'll need time. And time is the one thing they're trying to steal from you." He looked at her a long time, then nodded. "Okay." Dr. Leonard scribbled the order. "You've got till morning." Later that night, dressed in a donated coat and hoodie from the hospital's charity closet, Elliot Park stepped out through the employee entrance with Maya at his side. His gait was slow, but steadier now. His mind clearer. A cab waited a block away. Maya helped him inside. As they pulled away from the hospital, she turned to him. "Where to?" He thought for a moment, then said, "Go to Clinton Avenue, the bench." She frowned. "You want to go back?" "I want to remember why I was there. Something happened before you found me. I need to see it again." The cab weaved through light traffic. Snowmelt streaked down the windows. When they reached the familiar block, Elliot asked the driver to stop. He stepped out slowly, scanning the street. The diner was still open, but Carl wasn't there, thank God. The sidewalk was wet, but the bench was empty, quiet. Elliot sat. He looked out across the street and said nothing for several long minutes. Then, there was a man. I met him here. Maya knelt beside the bench. "Do you remember his face?" "No, just his voice." He said Clara's name. She stiffened. "What?" "That's why I stopped. That's why I sat here." He said Clara's name like he was testing me. Then he said, "It's time you repay your debts." Maya's heart pounded. "He handed me something," Elliot continued. "An envelope. I don't remember what was in it, but it scared me." "Did you take it with you?" "I think so, but I don't have it now." They sat in silence, the sound of a passing bus rumbling behind them. "I don't know who he was," Elliot said, "but he knew about Clara, about you, maybe even about the trust." Maya swallowed hard. "You think someone from Green Corps?" "I don't know. But I'm not going to find out by hiding in a luxury hospital suite with armed guards and a PR handler." She reached into her bag and pulled out the receipt from the hotel. "Then that's where we go next." Elliot nodded. The cab idled nearby. Somewhere behind them, a black SUV rolled slowly past, its windows tinted too dark to see inside. Someone was watching, and the game had only just begun. The cab pulled up outside the Bayside Harbor Hotel, a 3-star relic from another era, nestled between a row of rundown storefronts and a shuttered dry cleaner. Its neon sign flickered faintly in the early evening haze, casting a tired pink glow onto the sidewalk. Maya eyed the building from the back seat. "Doesn't exactly scream billionaire hideout." Elliot gave a small, wry smile. "Which is probably why I or whoever brought me here chose it." He moved with more confidence now, though each step still bore the weight of what he'd endured. Maya stayed close, ready to steady him if needed. They pushed through the scratched glass doors and into a dimly lit lobby that smelled of lemon cleaner and old carpet. Behind the desk sat a man in his late 50s, thick glasses perched low on his nose, flipping through a TV guide that looked like it hadn't been updated since the early 2000s. "Help you?" he grunted without looking up. Maya stepped forward. "We're looking for information about a guest who may have checked in Sunday evening. Room not listed. Paid cash." The man raised an eyebrow. "You got a name?" Elliot stepped up beside her. "Elliot Park." That got the clerk's attention. He leaned forward, squinting. "Wait, you're the guy who disappeared." Elliot blinked. "You've seen me before?" "Didn't know your name, but yeah. You came in with another guy. Tall, bald, wore a brown trench coat. Didn't say much. You looked out of it, kinda like you were drugged." Maya stiffened. "Drugged?" The clerk shrugged. "Didn't ask. Ain't my business. But your buddy handed me a couple hundred in cash and said you'd be out in an hour. Room 414. Top floor." "Is the room still booked?" Maya asked. He shook his head. "Nah. Cleaned it out Monday. Paid cash. No ID. You sure you want to go up there?" "Yes," Elliot said firmly. The clerk grumbled, pulled a key card from a drawer, and handed it over. "Elevators to your right. Don't break anything." The ride up was slow, the elevator groaning with each floor like it was considering giving up. Room 414 sat at the end of a narrow corridor with peeling wallpaper. Maya opened the door cautiously. The room smelled of bleach and stale air. It was nearly bare. A single queen-size bed. A nightstand. No personal items. No luggage. No papers. The curtains were drawn, casting dull shadows across the floor. Elliot walked in slowly. "It feels cold, familiar, but wrong." Maya began searching. She checked drawers, behind the headboard, beneath the mattress. Elliot moved toward the window and pulled back the curtain. The harbor spread out beyond, gray and still. "There's nothing here," she said after 10 minutes of searching. He frowned. "There has to be. That envelope, if I had it when I left here. Maybe I dropped it on the way to the diner. Or someone took it from you," Maya said. "Whoever brought you here might have waited until you passed out and then grabbed it." He turned to her. "I need to remember what was in it. Clara's name wasn't a coincidence. Someone wanted to tie her to me again for leverage. Maybe. Or warning." Maya's mind spun. "Let's think. If someone wanted you silenced but didn't kill you, what does that mean?" "They wanted me to disappear quietly," he said. "To make you seem unstable. Confused. Unreliable," she added. He nodded slowly. "So when I came back, no one would believe me." Maya's phone buzzed in her pocket. She glanced down. "Unknown number. They know you're with him. You're not safe." Her breath caught. "Who is it?" Elliot asked. She showed him the message. "No name. No ID." He took the phone from her, typed back a reply. "Who are you?" No response. Seconds ticked by. Then the phone buzzed again. "Check under the floor vent. Room 414. Hurry." "No." Elliot and Maya locked eyes, then turned toward the small vent near the foot of the bed. Maya dropped to her knees and unscrewed the rusted cover. Inside was a small, clear zippered pouch just large enough to hold a few folded papers. She pulled it out. Inside, a heavily redacted file stamped with "confidential" in 3 languages, including English and Korean. Elliot took it with shaking hands. He scanned the top page. Then he stopped cold. Maya watched his face change confusion, melting into horror. "What is it?" she whispered. He held up the top sheet. Clara's name was there. Her signature, dated March 1990. Beneath it, a notation in Korean, translated below. Subject was warned. Prototype deemed unstable. Clearance denied. Maya felt her knees go weak. What prototype? Elliot's voice was hoarse. My original solar processor. The version I was forced to abandon. I always thought. It failed testing. Oh, but it didn't? No, he said quietly. It was suppressed. Deliberately. Someone didn't want it released. Maya opened another page, an invoice from a shadow company based in Seoul, signed by a name she didn't recognize. Han Jae-sung. Who's he? She asked. Elliot's eyes went dark. He used to be my closest partner. I thought he was dead. Maya felt the air shift, as if the room itself had heard the name. They stared at each other in silence. A slow dread was rising. Whatever Elliot had been running from wasn't just in his past. It was alive. And watching, the hotel room's air had turned dense, as if the very walls were holding their breath. Elliot sat motionless on the edge of the bed, the file still trembling slightly in his hands. The name Han Jae-sung hovered between them like a ghost someone forgot to bury. Maya closed the vent cover and slowly rose to her feet. You said he was your partner. What happened? Elliot didn't speak at first. His gaze was locked on the window, unfocused, as if staring into a time long buried. Finally, he said, he was my first investor. In Seoul. Back in the days when I was still living on ramen and borrowed lab equipment. She pulled up a chair and sat across from him. And you trusted him? I did, Elliot said bitterly. We were both hungry, young, believers in something bigger than ourselves. But Han was always different. He had vision, yes, but it was cold, strategic. To him, everything was about leverage, power. He didn't just want to build clean energy. He wanted to own it. Maya leaned in. And Clara, she warned me about him, Elliot murmured. She said anyone who smiles too easily while taking something from you is either lying or already owns you. Maya felt a chill crawl up her spine. She helped me buy back my patent from Han. We used a loophole, buried the real tech under provisional filings. Then I left Korea, started over in the US. Clara protected me through that transition. She even risked her own immigration status to help me get citizenship. Maya nodded slowly. But now Han's name is on a document tied to Clara 30 years later. Elliot flipped to the last page in the file. His hands froze. What is it? Maya asked. He turned the paper around. It was a property deed. A private research facility in upstate New York Green Corps Development Campus, listed under an LLC that Elliot had never seen before. But what made his skin crawl was the purchase date, 3 months ago. And beneath it, a signature, Han Jae-sung. He's here, Elliot whispered. Maya stood slowly. So this isn't just a long-lost betrayal. It's a return. He's making moves on your company. Elliot closed the folder. Or already has. They sat in silence. The room felt smaller now. The city outside suddenly too wide, too full of hidden eyes. Then Maya's phone buzzed again. Unknown number. You found it. Now go. She stared at the screen. It's the same person. Elliot frowned. Whoever they are, they knew where this file was. They're watching us, maybe helping, or maybe just keeping us alive long enough to play their part, Maya said, skeptical. He gave her a faint smile. You don't trust easy. Grew up in foster care. I learned fast. She grabbed the folder, zipped it into her satchel, and stood. We can't stay here. Where to? I have a friend, she said. Back in Harlem. He runs a community center. Used to be military intelligence. Now he teaches coding to kids. If anyone can help us trace where this file came from, it's him. Elliot raised an eyebrow. You have interesting friends. Clara taught me to invest in people, not just things, Maya said. Some investments paid off. They left the hotel room quietly, slipping through the back stairwell. The hallway was empty. But just as they exited into the alley behind the building, Maya caught a flash of movement in the rearview mirror of a parked car. Someone ducked down. "Get in," she hissed, pushing Elliot toward the side street. She flagged a cab at the intersection. They slid into the back seat just as a man in a beige hoodie emerged from the alley behind them, scanning the street. The cab pulled off before he saw them. "Too close," Elliot muttered. "They're escalating," Maya said. "Whoever's behind this isn't content to just watch anymore." The drive uptown took 30 minutes. Elliot stayed quiet, watching the buildings change from industrial to residential, the skyline flattening into older brick and aging brownstones. Harlem felt like a different world, quieter, slower, more honest. The cab stopped in front of a red brick community center with a small hand-painted sign, the North Star Initiative. Inside, the center buzzed with life. Kids huddled over computer stations. A jazz playlist spilled softly from overhead speakers. The air smelled of cinnamon and printer ink. A tall man in his 60s, wearing a maroon sweater and horn-rimmed glasses, looked up from his desk. He smiled. "Maya Williams," he said, rising to embrace her. "Haven't seen you since you got that scholarship." "Hi, Mr. Boone," she said, hugging him. "I need a favor. A big one." "Oh." Boone studied Elliot carefully, the friendliness in his eyes sharpening into focus. "Who's this?" "Elliot Park," she said. "You may have seen him on the news." Boone nodded slowly. "Ah, the ghost, CEO." Elliot gave a tired smile. "That's me." Maya pulled the file from her bag. "We need to know where this came from. And who's still watching it." Boone opened the file. As he scanned the pages, his brow furrowed. This isn't just corporate. This has government markers all over it. And the encryption on this paper, it's military grade. Someone really didn't want this traced. "Can you crack it?" Maya asked. Boone smiled faintly. "Give me a few hours. You two rest. And whatever you do, don't leave this building." Elliot nodded. "We've learned that lesson." As Boone walked away with the file, Elliot sat heavily on the nearest bench, exhaling hard. Maya sat beside him. "This isn't just about tech anymore, is it?" "No," Elliot said. "It's about legacy, and secrets someone thought were buried with Clara." She looked at him, then at the kids laughing across the room. And for the first time since all of this began, she asked herself, what did Clara die protecting? Boone's office was tucked into the back of the community center, behind a bookshelf that doubled as a hidden door. The room smelled of pipe tobacco and old hard drives, walls lined with everything from outdated routers to stacks of worn paperbacks about encryption and Cold War surveillance. It was both a digital lab and a time capsule. Maya sat across from him at the workbench, her arms folded, eyes heavy with worry. Elliot paced slowly behind her, the stress etched into his posture. Boone adjusted his glasses, leaning into the soft glow of his monitor. Whoever encrypted this file didn't want it read, at least not without authorization codes. I've seen similar structuring from post-Cold War counterintelligence archives. But this, he shook his head. This is something else. How long do you need? Maya asked. Maybe another hour, maybe all night. Elliot sat down with a sigh. This started with a lost patent and a memory gap. Now we're dealing with Black Ops level encryption? Boone nodded. Clara Williams wasn't just your advocate, Elliot. She had access to systems way beyond standard legal channels. Some of this may even trace back to a joint government program. What kind of program? Maya asked, sitting up straighter. Green tech, Boone said. The kind that never reached the market. Either too unstable or too threatening to the wrong industries. Elliot's jaw tightened. Han Jae-sung didn't just want to suppress my patent, he wanted to keep it buried. Maya looked toward the wall, where a faded photo of Boone and Clara from the 90 Seconds hung, both smiling in front of an old courtroom. Did she ever tell you what she was involved in? Boone hesitated, then leaned back. Once, years ago. She came to me after your name appeared on a federal interest watch list. Said she had to disappear a file, bury it deep, keep it hidden in plain sight. He tapped the monitor. This is that file. Elliot sat forward. What's inside? Boone glanced at him. You sure you want to know? I need to, Elliot said. I owe her that much. Boone pressed a few keys, and the encrypted folder opened. The screen filled with scanned memos, schematics, and emails, some redacted, others marked urgent. Boone clicked open the top file. This is from 1991. It's an internal memo to the Department of Energy. Subject: The Eclipse Project. Maya frowned. What's that? Boone began to read aloud. The Eclipse Project Renewable Solar Harvest Network, designed for urban deployment, independent of fossil grid reliance. Project abandoned due to political pressure and undefined international interference. He paused. The design specs here. They're yours, Elliot. Elliot stared at the screen, lips parted. I never submitted this version. This was the prototype I showed Clara, the one I destroyed. Boone shook his head. Looks like someone salvaged it. Patched it into a classified federal project. Probably thought it was too powerful to be left with an immigrant inventor. Maya's stomach turned. So they took it, gave it a new name, hid it. And Clara hid the proof, Boone added. Long enough for someone, maybe you, to come looking for it again. Elliot ran his hands through his hair. And Han? Where does he fit? Boone pulled up a second file, an offshore bank ledger. He was the silent funder. Every dollar for Eclipse came through a shell company that led back to him. And now he owns a Green Corps lab in upstate New York, Maya said, her voice low. The same lab your board approved, right before you went missing. Elliot froze. You think they're building it again? I think, Boone said, they never stopped. Silence settled like dust. Boone closed the files and sat back. So now you know. Your technology wasn't forgotten, Elliot. It was stolen, nationalized, and now resurrected by the very man who tried to erase you. Elliot stood, staring out the window. The kids in the center were laughing over a coding game, unaware of the storm outside. He won't get away with it, he said. Maya turned toward him. So what's the plan? I need to confront the board. I need to go back to Green Corps. If they've already handed over development to Han, I have to stop it. That's not going to be easy, Boone said. Your absence made them vulnerable. He's likely playing puppet master behind the scenes. Show up unprepared, and they'll bury you again, this time for good. Elliot nodded. Then I need evidence. Leverage. Boone glanced at Maya. And you, Miss Williams? I'm not leaving him, she said simply. Not until this is over. Boone smiled faintly. Clara would be proud of you. Maya blinked back, the heat in her eyes. Let's make her proud then. Now, Boone packed the decrypted files into a flash drive and handed it to Elliot. Use this wisely, and don't trust anyone inside Green Corps, not even the ones who smile. Especially those, Maya added. Before they left, Boone handed Maya a folded envelope. Something Clara left for you. Told me to give it to you only when the past came knocking. Maya opened it slowly. Inside was a simple note, written in Clara's careful hand. Justice is never loud. It moves in silence, waits in shadows, and strikes when truth can no longer hide. Beneath it, a small key. Elliot looked at her. What's it for? Maya closed the envelope. I guess we're about to find out. As they walked out into the cold night, the wind stirred around them, not cruel, but urgent, as if the city itself was waiting for their next move. The subway rumbled beneath the street as Maya and Elliot stepped out of the North Star Initiative and into the night. The Harlem chill clung to their coats, but neither of them seemed to feel it. Maya held Clara's envelope tight in her palm, the weight of the small brass key pressing against her skin, like it had a pulse of its own. You sure you don't recognize it? Elliot asked as they walked briskly down the block. Maya shook her head. Clara never kept a safe in the house. No storage unit. She barely had a lockbox for bills. Could be a deposit box, Elliot offered. Bank vault? Maya thought for a moment. Wait, there was one place. She used to take me there on Saturdays, just before groceries. I thought it was just errands, but she'd always step into a little private booth for a few minutes. Elliot looked at her. Do you remember where? Yeah. Jackson Federal Savings. On 125th. It's still there. They hailed a cab and arrived just before closing. The bank's front doors were already locked, but Maya pounded on the glass until a security guard came to the door, annoyed but curious. We need access to a safety deposit box, she said quickly, holding up the key. It belonged to my foster mother. She passed, but I think she left this for me. The guard hesitated. You'll need ID and proof of relationship. Maya didn't flinch. Clara Williams was my legal guardian. You can check the name, and that box hasn't been accessed in years. Please just let us speak to the branch manager. The guard sighed and stepped back inside. Moments later, a stern-looking woman in a gray suit emerged and unlocked the door. You've got 10 minutes, she said. They were ushered down a quiet hallway to a small vault room. Dozens of numbered boxes lined the walls, each with its own slot. Maya scanned them until her hand froze on one. #347. She inserted the key. It clicked open with an old, satisfying snick. Inside was a single manila folder and a velvet pouch. Maya removed both, heart thudding. They stepped into a side booth, where she laid the items out on the table. The folder was packed legal contracts, photographs, even old cassette tapes. The name Elliot Park appeared dozens of times. Maya flipped through the pages. Some were handwritten letters, others typed legal arguments, documentation of meetings, suppressions, threats. But what stood out most was a single photo. It was of Elliot, Clara, and another man, Han Jae-sung. All three looked decades younger, smiling, standing outside a brick lab with GS Energy stenciled on the door. On the back, Clara had written, "The day it began," and the day it should have ended. Elliot stared at it in disbelief. She knew everything. Maya opened the velvet pouch. Inside was a flash drive and a small necklace, one she remembered Clara wearing all through childhood. She pressed the locket open. Inside, a micro SD card taped to the back. She hid data. Right in plain sight, Maya said in awe. Like Boone said, Elliot murmured, hidden in plain sight. They packed everything quickly. The manager reappeared, tapping her watch. Time's up. As they stepped out into the dark, Elliot pulled out his phone. I'm calling my old CTO, James Lin. If anyone inside Green Corps hasn't sold their soul to Han, it's him. Maya nodded. And then what? We go in, Elliot said. Through the front door. You really think they'll let you just walk in? He looked at her, a fire growing behind his tired eyes. They buried me once. That was their mistake. As they walked down the block, a sleek black car parked across the street flicked its headlights on, then off. From inside, a man spoke into a headset. They have the file. Prepare extraction protocol. Meanwhile, miles away in a glass conference room at Green Corps' upstate lab, Han Jae-sung stared at a paused security feed of Elliot and Maya entering the bank. He smiled faintly, then turned to his assistant. Clara was clever, but not clever enough. He tapped his fingers slowly on the table. Let's welcome Elliot home. A light drizzle misted the windshield as Maya and Elliot's car wound through the wooded roads of upstate New York. The landscape had changed from gray concrete to cold, dark trees, bare and still as sentinels. The silence in the car was thick, punctuated only by the occasional swipe of the windshield wipers and the hum of the tires on wet asphalt. Maya checked the folder on her lap again, Clara's notes, photographs, the micro SD card taped inside the locket. Each item carried weight. not just historical but deeply personal. She'd grown up thinking Clara was just a quiet, kind woman who made perfect pot roast and read Bible verses out loud when she thought Maya was asleep. But Clara had lived a double life. "Do you really think Lynn will show?" Maya asked, breaking the silence. Elliot, hands tight on the wheel, nodded. "James is cautious, not stupid. He won't ignore a direct message from me, especially not if I used our old phrase." Maya raised an eyebrow. "You had code words?" "Not exactly," Elliot said, a trace of a smile forming. "But during our startup years, we had a saying whenever we were overwhelmed. Return to the lab where it all began." It was a joke then. Now, it's not. They pulled up to the edge of the Green Core Innovation Campus. The main building loomed ahead, modern, sleek, and humming with quiet menace. It was glass and steel, sitting like a fortress in the forest, reflecting the stormy sky. Maya scanned the grounds. "It looks abandoned." Elliot parked in the employee lot and shut off the engine. "It always does. Green Core doesn't advertise what's real. It buries it." They exited the car and approached the front doors. A silent sensor triggered the glass panels to part with a soft whoosh. Inside, the lobby was immaculate. A long reception desk stood empty, backlit by soft blue light. A massive wall bore the slogan, "Powering tomorrow with the silence of today." Maya snorted. "Creepy much?" "Han always liked poetic lies," Elliot muttered. A side door opened, and a tall man in a dark turtleneck stepped out. James Lynn. He looked thinner than Elliot, remembered his once boyish face now more angular, hair streaked with gray. But the eyes were the same, sharp, analytical, always watching. "Elliot," he said flatly. "James." They stood in silence a beat too long before Maya stepped forward. "This is a reunion or a standoff?" James offered a tight smile. "Depends on what you brought me." Elliot held up the flash drive. Everything Han erased, and everything Clara saved. James's smile faded. "In my office," he said, turning without another word. They followed him through winding corridors, past glass-walled labs and sterile conference rooms. No other staff appeared. The silence was eerie. Inside the office, James closed the blinds and locked the door. "Sit." Maya remained standing. Elliot inserted the flash drive into the terminal. The screen lit up with Clara's archive, memos, test results, project names. The Eclipse Project, Sunlock, Red 27. James scrolled silently. His expression changed slowly from curiosity to concern to fear. "She had all of this?" he said hoarsely. "She buried it," Elliot said, "because she knew it would kill people." James looked up sharply. "It did kill people. 2 engineers in Seoul, a lab tech in DC. They all tried to whistleblow on Han." Maya leaned forward. "Then why are you still here, James?" He exhaled deeply. "Because I didn't know who to trust. When you vanished, Han told the board you had a breakdown, that you'd gone rogue, threatening to leak proprietary data. He said if I stepped up, he'd keep the company whole." Elliot stiffened. "You believed him?" "I wanted to believe you were wrong," James said, voice low. "Because if you weren't, then I was part of the lie." Maya crossed her arms. "You're still part of it, unless you help us stop him." James met her gaze. "Then prove it," Elliot said. "Where's the new facility?" James paused, then opened a secure map on the screen. A blinking red dot appeared in the northern quadrant of the property. "Restricted access. Level 4 clearance only. Han's been spending millions there. No paper trail, no digital record." "What's he building?" Maya asked. James hesitated. "It's the Eclipse Core, the original design, scaled and modified. Clara's notes, the ones she helped you hide, were used to stabilize it. He's planning to unveil it in 2 weeks at the World Energy Summit." Elliot sat back, stunned. "He's going to launch stolen tech as his own." James nodded. "And if it works, He'll control the global solar grid. Every government, every city, every citizen dependent on his pricing. No competition, no oversight. Maya felt sick. You said it was unstable. James's eyes darkened. It still is, but he doesn't care. Elliot stood. Then we have to stop the launch. James looked at him. How? You have a folder. He has the board, the media, the military contractors. Elliot turned to Maya. We use what we have. Maya nodded. Clara's testimony. Her files. Her voice. Her warnings. All of it. James slowly stood and pulled a secure tablet from his drawer. There's one more thing. A backdoor Clara wrote into the system 20 years ago, long before I joined. It's an override. Shuts the core down. I never knew what it was for until now. He handed Elliot the tablet. Use this inside the control room, he said, and you'll have 5 minutes before Han knows you're there. Maya gripped the tablet. 5 minutes is all we need. James stared at them. If you fail, they'll bury you both. Elliot smiled grimly. They already tried. Outside, thunder cracked across the sky. Somewhere deep in the building, power surged. The race had begun. The green core complex seemed to pulse with unnatural stillness as Maya and Elliot slipped deeper into the secured wing. Each step they took toward the restricted zone felt heavier, as though the air had thickened with every corridor they passed. James's badge granted them access through 2 security doors, but the final checkpoint, the one guarding the control room, required biometric confirmation. Maya's heart raced as she watched Elliot press his thumb to the scanner. A soft chime. Access granted. They exchanged a glance. Maya's hand clenched around the secure tablet. They stepped inside. The control room was a stark contrast to the rest of the building. Industrial, cold, and humming with quiet menace. Floor-to-ceiling screens displayed live data, solar intake, circuit flow charts, battery storage metrics, global weather patterns, an entire ecosystem pulsing with electric precision. At the center stood the Eclipse core itself, a sleek, obsidian monolith encased in glass. It emitted a low hum, barely audible, but felt in the bones. God, Maya whispered. It's alive. Elliot stepped forward slowly, drawn to it like a moth to flame. His hand hovered near the glass. This isn't what I designed. It's faster, meaner, but still yours, Maya said softly. Stolen or not? He nodded. It's Clara's too. She's in every line of code. They moved to the primary console. Elliot connected the tablet James had given them. The screen flickered, then displayed a single prompt. Enter override sequence. He hesitated. I haven't seen this in 30 years. You remember it, Maya said. You always do. He began to type. Lines of code flooded the screen. The system trembled as the override triggered dormant protocols buried beneath layers of Han's modifications. Suddenly, the room dimmed. A red warning pulsed at the top of every monitor. Unauthorized access detected, Maya swore. He knows. Elliot worked faster. The override will force a shutdown in 300 seconds. That's our window. But before he could finish, the door slammed shut behind them. And from the side corridor, footsteps echoed. Han Jae-sung stepped into the control room with all the calm of a man who had just arrived for afternoon tea. He wore a tailored black suit. His silver hair swept neatly back. No sign of age in his posture. Behind him, 2 armed security guards stood like statues. Well, he said smoothly, isn't this nostalgic? Elliot turned to face him. Still stealing things that don't belong to you, I see. Han smiled. Still acting like the world owes you something just because you were first. Maya stepped in front of Elliot instinctively. It's over. We have the files. The override. The proof. Han glanced at her with amused disdain. And what will you do? Run to the press? The government? They are me now. He took a slow step forward. This technology is already embedded in over 50 global systems. The summit is just a formality. You think a stolen patent and a dead woman's warnings will undo that? Elliot stared at him. It might not stop your empire, Han, but it will damn your name. Han's smile faded. Names are dust, he said coldly. Legacy is steel. Maya's voice rose. Then Clara's legacy is the blade that will cut yours down. She turned and hit execute override. Alarms blared. The Eclipse Core's hum turned into a mechanical whine. Data on the screens began to collapse, numbers crashing, values zeroing out. Han's eyes widened for the first time. What did you do? Reset the core to its original failsafe, Elliot said, the one you tried to erase. The guards raised their weapons. Don't, Han warned. You fire in here, you lose everything. But it was too late. The system hit PHASE-2 shutdown, energy redirected, triggering an automatic firewall dump and full system quarantine. The lights flickered violently. Elliot grabbed Maya's hand. Time to go. They dashed out a side exit as chaos exploded behind them. Han shouted orders, his calm cracking into fury. They ran down service corridors, alarms echoing behind them. A hidden elevator in the maintenance wing led them back to the garage. By the time they reached the car, Elliot was gasping for breath. Sweat slick on his forehead. Maya drove like a bullet down the winding road, not speaking until the green core complex was a shrinking dot in the rearview mirror. He turned to her. We just committed corporate war. She exhaled. We just did what Clara would have done. They drove through the night in silence, not out of fear but purpose. Ahead lay the second battle, telling the world. The sun was just cresting over the East River as Maya and Elliot reached Manhattan. The skyline shimmered gold through the morning haze, its towers tall, silent, and watching. It looked peaceful, ordinary. But beneath that stillness, the world was already shifting. Maya parked the car in an alley behind an old brownstone building in Brooklyn Heights. He's expecting us, she said. Elliot followed her into a side door marked with a faded placard. Local 17 Broadcast Co-op. Inside, the place smelled of hot coffee, soldering metal, and determination. Low ceilings, scuffed floors, buzzing monitors. This was no fancy studio, it was a guerrilla newsroom, the kind that ran on truth and caffeine. A thin man with thick glasses and an NYU hoodie looked up from a control board. Maya Williams. Haven't seen you since you filmed that expose on housing corruption in East Harlem. Still working for people who can't afford lawyers, she said, giving him a quick hug. Jules, this is Elliot Park. Jules froze, eyes wide. You're him. No. Elliot nodded quietly. Jules exhaled. The man who vanished, came back from the dead, and then shut down Green Corps' crown jewel? We'd rather not be called dead, Maya said, dropping the satchel onto the console. But yeah, that's us. Jules looked at the flash drive in Maya's hand. Is that it? She nodded. Everything Clara saved. Everything they tried to erase. Jules turned serious. Okay, you've got a 5-minute slot on our secure global live stream. We're bouncing it through 3 European nodes before it hits public servers. After that, no one can stop it. Elliot hesitated. Are we sure this is the right move? Maya looked at him. You said you wanted to end this. This is how. He nodded slowly. Then stepped into the tiny makeshift studio. 1 camera. 1 mic. A black backdrop. Nothing but raw truth. Maya stood behind the glass, hand resting on the edge of the doorframe as Jules counted him in silently. 3, 2, 1. The red light clicked on. Elliot leaned toward the mic. My name is Elliot Park. 35 years ago, I came to the United States with a dream. To build clean energy that didn't depend on oil, didn't poison our air, and didn't bankrupt our future. I filed a patent. It was stolen. Maya watched, her chest tightening. I was silenced. My research buried. Those responsible are not unknown. They are not strangers in the shadows. They are men with titles and power who used fear to control innovation. He held up Clara's photo. This woman, Clara Williams, protected the truth for decades. She died trying to make sure it found the light. He placed the photo on the table. Attached to this broadcast is a data drop. All of it. The patents, the files, the names, the codes. The Eclipse core was not an innovation. It was a theft, wrapped in silence, and sold as salvation. Oh, Maya's hands trembled as she whispered to herself, "Go, Elliot, finish it." He looked directly into the camera. "You may not know me, but you'll know what they did. And now, you'll know who made sure you found out." The red light blinked off. Jules blinked. "It's done. It's live. Already mirrored to 100 channels. There's no taking it back." Maya exhaled, hands on her knees, a wave of emotion crashing through her. Elliot stepped out slowly. "That was final," Jules said. "Give it a few hours. You'll be trending in every language." But even before the hour was up, the first headlines hit. Whistleblower claims Eclipse core stolen. Patents resurfaced tying green core to suppressed tech. Clara Williams, the woman who hid the truth for 30 years. The internet caught fire. Maya's phone buzzed nonstop. Journalists, activists, government contacts, even foreign embassies. Jules looked up. "You've got calls coming in from 5 continents." "No." Elliot nodded, stunned. "Let them wait." But the celebration didn't last. Within an hour, a black SUV rolled up outside. Maya peered through the blinds. "Private security. They don't look like reporters." Jules paled. "How did they find you so fast?" Elliot grabbed Maya's hand. "We need to move." "Where?" But Maya already had a plan. "To Clara's church." Elliot blinked. "The one in the Bronx?" "She had a safe house under the rectory. She told me once, if anything ever happened and I didn't know where to go, I should go where forgiveness meets fire." That church survived a bombing in the 70 seconds. The basement is fireproof. They slipped out the back as the SUV door opened. A man stepped out, speaking rapidly into an earpiece. But Maya and Elliot were gone. As the city began to wake, and the truth spread across the world, 2 figures vanished into the morning fog. The war was far from over, but the silence had finally been broken. The sun rose higher over the Bronx, but inside the old stone church of St. Augustine's, it remained dim and solemn. The sanctuary smelled of wax, incense, and dust, a mix that reminded Maya of childhood Sundays in Clara's care. Even then, the pews were never full. But the silence here wasn't absence. It was reverence. She led Elliot through a side corridor past faded stained glass windows and down a narrow stairwell behind the pulpit. Each step creaked with memory. "Are you sure this is it?" Elliot whispered. "She called it her sanctuary within a sanctuary," Maya replied. "Only the pastor knew." At the base of the stairs, they reached a thick wooden door. Maya pulled a small chain from beneath her shirt, the cross Clara had given her the day she graduated high school. She twisted the top. A tiny key clicked free from its base. Elliot raised his brows, always hiding things in plain sight. She was never afraid," Maya said softly. "Just prepared." The key fit perfectly. Inside, the basement was unlike the rest of the church, lined with bookshelves, file cabinets, and an old desk surrounded by filing boxes. There was a cot in the corner, a small stove, even a decades-old radio. "She lived here?" Elliot asked, gently touching the books. "Some nights," Maya said, "when the world was too dangerous." They set their bags down. Maya powered on the radio, scrolling through static until the signal of a public broadcast came into range. "Breaking news this hour. Multiple officials tied to the controversial Eclipse core project have resigned amidst leaked documents suggesting patent theft, cover-ups, and international corporate espionage." Former Green Corps CEO Han Jae-sung has yet to comment, though sources say subpoenas have been issued. Elliot exhaled slowly. We cracked it open. Maya nodded, but the fallout is just beginning. Suddenly, the church's doorbell echoed through the basement. They froze. Maya moved to the basement window and peeked through the narrow horizontal slit. It wasn't a car. It was a priest, Father Mitchell, Clara's old friend. Maya hurried upstairs, cracked the side door, and met his gaze. He looked older, more tired than she remembered, but his voice was the same, soft and deliberate. "Child," he said, "you brought the storm with you." Maya nodded. "Clara trusted you. I'm trusting you now." He stepped inside, closed the door, and embraced her. She was right to. Elliot emerged from the stairwell, eyes cautious. Father Mitchell extended his hand. "You're the one who lost the world and then gave it back its conscience." Elliot took the hand, humbled. "We're not finished yet." "No," the priest said, lowering his voice. "You're not." He pulled an envelope from his coat and handed it to Maya. "She left this with me a week before she died. Told me not to open it. Said it belonged to the one who asked for forgiveness and was willing to burn everything down to find the truth." Maya opened the envelope carefully. Inside was a thin notebook. On the cover, the second key. She flipped through it. Coordinates, names, codes, diagrams. But most importantly, an alternate design. A cleaner, safer version of the Eclipse core. One Clara had kept separate from both Han and Elliot. A version built not for profit but for people. Elliot stared at it in awe. "She finished it. Without me." Maya looked at him. "Maybe not without you. Maybe for you." The priest placed a hand on her shoulder. "The truth burns, Maya. But in fire, we purify. You've done what few would dare. But it's not over," she said. "Han won't go quietly. There are still allies of his in the shadows. They'll try to spin this, bury it again." Elliot closed the notebook. "Then we keep fighting. With this, we give the world not just the truth but the solution." The priest nodded. "Then this place is yours, for as long as you need it." As it was hers. They stayed that night in the basement sanctuary. Outside, headlines erupted. Green Corps files under investigation for technology theft. Public demands federal hearings. Whistleblower video reaches 80 million views. Inside the safety of Clara's haven, Maya lit a single candle and placed it beside her photo. "You never gave up," she whispered, "and neither will we." The flame danced, tiny and fierce, like a promise. The following morning, the sanctuary buzzed not with prayers, but with purpose. The basement, once quiet, was now alive with clattering keyboards, phone calls, and the low hum of strategy. Maya sat at Clara's old desk, surrounded by stacks of documents from the notebook labeled The Second Key. Elliot stood behind her, pacing slowly, cross-referencing notes from Clara's files with schematics on a laptop screen. "This isn't just a cleaner version," he said finally, voice full of wonder. "It's better. Clara didn't just correct the flaws, she evolved the whole model." Maya turned in her chair. She knew no one would believe the truth unless there was an alternative, a better one. Elliot nodded. "We take this public. Not just what Han stole, but what he kept from the world. That's the nail in the coffin." But even as they planned, the outside world was shifting. A knock at the church door startled them both. Father Mitchell opened it. A woman in a tailored pantsuit stepped inside, followed by a younger man with a camera bag slung over his shoulder. "I'm Lydia Harmon, investigative reporter with the New York Sentinel." She extended a card to Maya. "You may not know me, but I've been following this for weeks. I saw your live stream. My editors want your story." Elliot folded his arms. "You already have our story." Lydia smiled. "No, Mr. Park. We have pieces, rumors, whispers, but we don't have the why. Not from you." Maya hesitated. "This isn't about fame. Lydia's smile faded. It's about momentum. Your video started a wave, but public anger fades without fuel. You need an anchor, something people can hold on to when the backlash comes. Elliot exchanged a glance with Maya. Maya took a deep breath. Come downstairs. In the sanctuary basement, Lydia's team filmed for 2 hours capturing Clara's files. The original designs, the micro SD card, and most importantly, Maya's account of Clara's final days. My foster mother wasn't a scientist, Maya said into the camera. She was a believer, not in God alone, but in people. In doing the right thing when no one's watching. In justice that's quiet, patient, and sharp. Elliot spoke next. Han Jae-sung thought power was about control, but real power, true legacy, is in what you give away, not what you keep. This technology was meant to serve the world. Clara made sure it still can. The footage was raw, heartfelt, and damning. That evening, Lydia's expose went live. Headline: The woman who outsmarted billionaires. Clara Williams and the secret to saving solar energy. It spread like wildfire. Within hours, the White House released a statement. Congressional hearings were scheduled. The Department of Energy launched a full-scale investigation into Green Corps and its international partners. But with exposure came danger. That night, as Maya stepped outside to breathe fresh air under the quiet Bronx sky, she noticed the street was no longer empty. A black car sat across from the church. The same make, same plate from the surveillance team that had followed them days earlier. She went back inside and locked the door. Elliot, she said. We're being watched again. He stood, already reaching for the notebook. They know about the new design, Maya nodded, and they'll do anything to stop us. Elliot turned to Father Mitchell. We can't stay here much longer. Mitchell nodded solemnly. I know. You've lit a fire the world can't unsee. That fire will draw shadows. Maya looked back at Clara's desk, her candle still flickering in the dark. We need to finish what she started, she said. Before they can silence us again. The next step was clear. Secure Clara's second core design in an international archive. Release the plans under a public domain license. And make it impossible for any corporation or government to bury it again. Elliot sent encrypted files to whistleblower platforms and open-source engineering networks across Europe and South America. By morning, the blueprint of Clara's second key had already been downloaded 2 million times. Free, forever. Han's empire, once shielded by silence, was now being chipped apart by truth. But Han was not finished. From his private estate in the Pacific Northwest, he watched the news play across 5 monitors. The photo of Clara, the diagram of the core, the quote from Elliot about legacy. He turned to his legal team, his face calm, but his eyes razor sharp. Call the board, tell them we move to phase 3, and find out where they're hiding. I want them back in my hands before the world forgets their names. But he had already lost control of the story. In the heart of the Bronx, Maya stood at the altar of the church with Elliot beside her. Not in prayer, but in promise. This time, she said, we don't run, we rise. The early morning sky hung heavy over the Bronx. A thick gray canopy that refused to break. Inside St. Augustine's church, the air felt charged not with reverence, but resistance. Maya stood at the small kitchen sink in the rectory, rinsing out 2 coffee mugs, her thoughts spinning faster than the drip of the faucet. She'd barely slept. Clara's words from the notebook echoed relentlessly in her mind. The truth is a weapon, but it's not enough to wound, you have to disarm. Now, Maya had spent years chasing justice for others' families evicted illegally, workers cheated out of wages, communities poisoned by greed, but nothing ever felt as big, as fragile, or as personal as this. In the sanctuary, Elliot sat with Father Mitchell, mapping out the last of their options. The world has the design, Elliot said, pointing at his laptop. That part's done, but Han won't care about the public knowing. He's coming for us. As long as we're alive, we're the proof he can't erase. Mitchell rubbed his temples. You're in a sacred place, but even churches are not immune to power. Maya stepped into the room. Then we make it sacred for the world. She unrolled a printed copy of the design and laid it on the table next to 3 USB drives. We make it mobile. We give it to people we trust. Spread it like seeds. They can't kill an idea if they can't catch it. Elliot looked up at her. You're thinking like Clara. Oh, no, Maya said quietly. I'm thinking like someone who's done watching others get buried. Outside, the bell tower struck 9. A soft knock at the side door startled them. Mitchell tensed. Nobody's supposed to know we're here. Elliot pulled the curtain aside slightly. It's Jules. Maya rushed to the door and opened it. Jules looked winded, rain in his hair and panic in his eyes. They found your broadcast station, he said breathlessly. Wiped every hard drive. They didn't even pretend to be subtle. Elliot's face darkened, hands cleaning house. And that's not all, Jules continued. I intercepted chatter on a private signal. They're calling it asset recovery. They're coming for you too. Maya swallowed hard. How long? Less than an hour, maybe less. Father Mitchell rose from his seat. Then it's time. He walked to the back of the sanctuary and pulled on a small brass sconce. A panel in the wall shifted with a groan. Behind it, an old escape tunnel built generations ago, meant for protecting clergy during race riots and political protests in the 60 seconds. It leads to the subway, Mitchell said. 2 blocks south. From there, you disappear. Elliot stared at the tunnel, then back at Maya. We just run? Again? No, she said firmly. We move, but not without a message. No. She pulled out the second notebook Clara had left still packed with codes, coordinates, and the final safeguard, a digital dead man's switch. If we're caught, if something happens to us, this goes live, Maya said, placing one of the USB drives in a small weatherproof case. It'll send the full core redesign, Clara's letters, everything to every major university, press outlet, and tech platform. Jules took the case. You want me to deliver it? No, she said. I want you to hide it, somewhere even we don't know. He nodded solemnly. I've got just the place. Elliot turned to Father Mitchell. What about you? Mitchell smiled softly. This is not the first time I've faced men with guns and no soul. I'll be here if they come. And I'll say what needs to be said. Maya's eyes welled up, but she held them back. Thank you for everything. The priest placed his hand on her head gently. Go now, child. Clara watches. Mo. They stepped into the tunnel, darkness swallowing them whole as the door sealed shut behind. Above ground, minutes later, 2 black SUVs pulled up outside the church. 4 men stepped out, dark coats, no badges, earpieces barely visible. They approached the doors without urgency. One of them knocked. Father Mitchell opened it. May I help you? He asked, calm as ever. The tallest man spoke, his tone flat. We're looking for Elliot Park and Maya Williams. The priest didn't flinch. You're late. He closed the door in their faces. Down below, in the flickering darkness of the tunnel, Maya gripped Elliot's hand as they navigated their way toward the city's bowels. Each echo of their footfalls felt like a countdown. We've gone underground before, Elliot murmured, half joking. Last time we came back stronger, Maya replied. This time we come back louder. They emerged at a maintenance hatch near a deserted subway platform. The city hummed above, unaware of the war still being waged in its shadow. They didn't look back. They had one final play. And this time, they would strike at the very heart of the machine. The hum of the subway was distant now, fading behind them as Maya and Elliot moved through the lower streets of Manhattan, slipping into the noise of the city like ghosts. The early afternoon crowds had no idea that 2 of the most wanted people in the country walked quietly among them. Their destination was Midtown, a sleek steel and glass tower nestled between the corporate giants of 7th Avenue. Thalos Dynamics. A name the public barely recognized, but in Elliot's world, it was the firewall Han had used to wash his stolen research, bury Clara's legacy, and fund the military-grade Eclipse Core variant. It wasn't just a shell company. It was the core of the operation. Maya adjusted the scarf over her head, sunglasses covering her face. Elliot wore a cap low and walked stiffly, his nerves clearly frayed. "You sure about this?" she asked as they stopped a block away from the Thalos Tower. "I have clearance codes from years ago. Backdoor routes Han never deactivated. It's the one place he thinks we'd be too scared to touch." Maya smirked. "Then let's disappoint him." They slipped into a side entrance meant for staff deliveries. With Elliot's outdated ID and some clever hacking from a burner tablet, the doors clicked open. Inside, the building was silent and sterile. LED lights buzzed faintly above, and security cameras panned slowly, none of them fast enough to catch two people moving like they'd done it 100 times. They took the stairs, 4 flights down to sublevel 3, where the walls became reinforced steel and the air smelled faintly of ozone. Elliot paused at a security pad beside a thick door labeled Core Operations, Authorized Access Only. He typed in the last of Clara's codes. The pad blinked green. They were in. The room beyond was a vault of secrets. Massive servers glowed blue and red. Screens displayed live data from test facilities around the world. In the center, a glass cylinder housed something that made Maya's breath catch. A smaller version of the Eclipse Core. Sleek, deadly. "This is the AI integrated variant," Elliot whispered. "It can adapt energy output in real time. They've weaponized it." Maya stepped closer. "Can we shut it down?" Elliot smiled faintly. "Not just shut it down. We can liberate it." He pulled out the final USB drive, Clara's dead man's switch. The moment it was activated, it would not only disable the core, but also inject a cascade of corruption across every server connected to Han's network, scrambling licenses, decrypting hidden archives, and releasing Clara's research to every scientific journal worldwide. "Ready?" he asked. Maya nodded. "Do it." Elliot inserted the drive. A moment of stillness. Then everything changed. Alarms didn't blare, lights didn't flicker, but the data began to fall apart gently, like snow. Security protocols unraveled, protected files unlocked, passwords exposed. Years of digital oppression reversed in a single elegant collapse. "It's working," Elliot whispered. "All of it." But then, bang, the door behind them burst open. Han Jae-sung stood in the entryway, flanked by 2 men in military-grade body armor. He looked older now, not just in years but in the way power leaves a man once it begins to slip through his fingers. "Do you have any idea what you've done?" he said, voice cold as steel. Maya stepped in front of the console. "We gave the world back what you tried to steal." Han walked in slowly, eyes on Elliot. "I made you, Park. I gave your designs a future. You gave them a price tag," Elliot replied. "Clara gave them a soul." Han raised a hand and one of the guards stepped forward. But suddenly, Elliot shouted, "Now!" He hit the finalize command on the screen. The Eclipse Core inside the room let out a high-pitched whine. All screens turned white. Han's guards hesitated, distracted for the half-second Maya needed. She grabbed the emergency release lever near the console and yanked it down. A blinding flash erupted. When the light faded, Han was on his knees, eyes wide with disbelief. The core was offline, the room had sealed, and across the world, Clara's files were being downloaded in real time by universities, scientists, press outlets, and advocacy groups. "Game over," Maya said quietly. Han looked up at her. "You think you've won? The system isn't yours anymore," Elliot said, helping Maya toward the door. As they exited the vault, sirens from law enforcement units finally echoed from above. Someone had tipped off the authorities. The building was being surrounded. Han remained behind, staring at the dead machine that once promised him control. Minutes later, Maya and Elliot emerged from a fire escape into the blinding afternoon sun day. FBI agents were already there. Guns raised. "Hands where we can see them," someone shouted. Maya didn't flinch. She raised her hands and her voice. "We have proof. We just saved lives, and we can prove everything." "One." Elliot reached into his coat slowly and handed the lead agent the last remaining copy of the master files. "Your world just changed," he said. The agent looked down, then up again, his expression unreadable. And then, after a long pause, he nodded. "You're coming with us, but I think the world will want to hear your side." As they were guided into protective custody, Maya looked back one last time at the skyline. For the first time in years, it felt honest. 3 weeks later, the courtroom was packed to the walls. Cameras lined the back row. Journalists whispered behind notepads, and every seat was filled with faces both curious and hungry for truth, for justice, for closure. The trial of United States v. Han Jae-sung and Green Core Technologies had become the most publicized corporate reckoning of the decade, and Maya Williams was the first to take the stand. She wore no makeup, no tailored suit, just a clean blouse, simple earrings, and Clara's silver cross around her neck. The prosecutor, a sharp, no-nonsense black woman named Erin Delacroix, approached slowly. "Miss Williams, tell the court how this began." Maya took a breath. It began with a forgotten man and a woman who refused to forget. The room held its breath. She told them everything. How Clara had hidden the truth for decades. How Maya had discovered the old files. How Elliot Park had returned to reclaim what was his, not out of revenge, but out of duty. And how Han Jae-sung had built an empire on the bones of others. By the time she finished, more than a few in the gallery were crying. Elliot testified next. His voice cracked when he described the early years, the stolen patent, the isolation, the shame of being silenced in a language not his own. "I wasn't just robbed of my work," he said. "I was robbed of the chance to help." Delacroix asked softly, "Why come forward now? After so many years?" Elliot glanced at Maya. "Because she reminded me that silence isn't survival, it's surrender." Across the aisle, Han sat stone-faced, flanked by lawyers. He didn't speak once during the proceedings. But when the evidence was displayed, the emails, the forged documents, the altered schematics, the suppressed safety reports, his silence spoke volumes. The jury deliberated for 2 days. When they returned, the verdict was swift. Guilty on all counts. Wire fraud, intellectual property theft, criminal conspiracy, suppression of public safety information, unlawful export of military-grade energy tech. A collective breath was released across the nation. Justice, long delayed, had finally arrived. But for Maya, justice wasn't a gavel, it was the world that came after. 6 months later, a university campus in Oregon. Rolling hills, students in bright windbreakers hurrying between glass buildings, and in the center of it all, the Clara Williams Center for Renewable Ethics. Inside, Maya walked through the new solar research lab, sunlight pouring through the atrium roof. Elliot followed close behind, now clean-shaven and clear-eyed, more professor than fugitive. "Think she'd like it?" Maya asked, smiling. "She'd scold us for making it too pretty," Elliot chuckled. "Then hide a USB stick in the foundation." "No." They stopped in front of a glass plaque, Clara's face engraved in brushed steel. Beneath it, her final words from the notebook. "Give it freely, burn the rest." Maya placed a single sunflower below the plaque. Students passed by, whispering in different languages, carrying versions of the redesigned Eclipse core in their hands. Open source, community-built, global. No more patents, no more secrets. Elliot turned to Maya. "So what's next for you?" She looked out the window where solar panels gleamed across the hills. "I tell more stories," she said. "The kind that matter, the kind that cost something." "You're not afraid anymore?" "No," she said, "because truth is louder than fear." Just then, her phone buzzed. A message from Jules. "You're trending again." The UN just cited Clara's core as a model for international clean energy policy. Maya smiled. The world was changing. Not quickly, not easily, but permanently. And somewhere, in the quiet memory of a Bronx church, the candle still flickered. Not in mourning, in light. The story of Maya Williams and Elliott Park teaches us that truth may be buried, silenced, or stolen, but it cannot be destroyed. When courage meets conviction, even the most powerful lies collapse under the weight of a single voice willing to speak. It reminds us that justice isn't always swift or loud, but when it comes, it brings light not just to the wronged, but to the world. Ultimately, this story is a testament to the quiet heroes like Clara Williams who guard the truth,